Hello, guys, welcome to another episode of the Fundamentals of Programming. My name is Destiny Brotubo, and I'm doing this for Programmer City. Okay, now in this episode, we're going to be talking about program statements and expressions. Okay, on the last episode, we discussed about softwares and program, the differences, and the link between softwares and program. Okay, so if you want to know more about that, at least you can just go and watch the previous video we did. Okay, now I'll also advise you to follow the series because, like I always say, the series just starting. We still have a lots of things to do. Okay, so kindly subscribe to our channel at Programmer City and click on the notification button for you to get notification every time we drop a new video. And I just want to also let you know that we'll be dealing with other topics or other courses on this channel as well. Very soon I'm going to be putting up a SQL tutorial for those of you that might be interested in SQL. Okay, so kindly just subscribe and click on the notification bell to get a notification anytime we start the new series also. Okay, now talking about program statements and expression. Okay, first of all, we have to look into what expressions actually are. Okay, so now expression in programming is a combination of values and functions that combine and interpreted by the compiler or the interpreter to create a new value. Okay, now whenever we're talking about expression, whenever you talk about evaluation in programming, okay, when you evaluate some certain data either stored in a variable or just literals, okay, when you put all these data together, all these values together to result to a new value, you're simply talking about expressions. Okay, for instance, if you see the 2 plus 2 like what we have on the screen right now, basically you know that 2 plus 2 will give you 5. Okay, so for you to get a result with that operator there, the plus operator there, you know that, okay, I'm supposed to add these two numbers. Okay, so the final thing there will give you 5. So when you see something like this, you should know that you are actually dealing with what? Expressions. Okay, another example would be x times y divided by 3. Okay, so anytime you see something like this, also you wonder what is x, what is y. Definitely there are values. Okay, in programming, x and y could be variables, not could be, they are definitely variables that will hold a certain values that will be used for this evaluation. Okay, and this evaluation will automatically yield a result. Okay, so anytime the compiler or the interpreter or whatever translator that is evaluating this gives a result, anything that it can evaluate to give a new value is simply known as what? An expression. Then we can also see example of methods. Okay, when you call some methods like what you see on your screen now, the square root. If you're looking for the square root of 5, definitely the square root of 25 rather is 5. Okay, now when you call square roots like this, you are expecting a value in return. Okay, so methods, calling methods are also expression. It's not just when you see maybe some values and some operators like we saw in the first two examples that you say they are expression. As long as it's returning a value, as long as the result of that particular thing you wrote on the programming will give you a value, is simply an expression. Okay, then lastly, we can also see expression that will give us values like the boolean values, whether true or false. Okay, like for instance, is x less than y plus 2. Okay, now this one will not really return a numeric value for you or return a string value for you, or what it will return is simply a boolean value, which is either true or false, and that will be depending on the value that are stored within the x and y. Okay, so that is what expressions are. Now let's look at statements on the other hand. Now, statements, on the other hand, they form a complete unit of execution. Okay. Now, in a layman term, if I'm to say what a statement is, I can tell you categorically tell you that anything that instructs the computer to perform a certain task is a statement. Remember, when we define programs, we said programs are set of instructions. Okay. Now, each of these instructions, when you say set, a set, that means a group, okay, a group of instructions, okay. Now when you single out a single instruction here, a single instruction will do something, tell the computer to perform a certain operation, okay. Now this single instruction that tells the computer, or that tell the computer to perform a certain operation, this instruction is simply known as a statement, okay. And we can have different types of statements, which we are going to be mentioning when we start talking about the programming source code, okay. Now it might also interest you to know that a statement can have one or more expression within it, okay. Now before we go into that statement having one or more expression, let's first of all look at different statements, okay. Now the first one we'll see here is print, okay. Now this simply is an instruction telling the computer to print a message, just print hello, okay. Now this is a statement, okay. As simple as it is instructing the computer to do something, okay. That is a statement, okay. Now another example is input your name, okay. Now this is an input statement, okay. We have the print is an output statement, the input here, as the name suggests, is an input statement which takes in data from the user, okay. Immediately the computer sees an input statement, okay, the instruction simply tells it to accept data from the user and use it within the program, okay. So that is another example of a statement, okay. Then another example you can also see here is an assignment statement. You can see we have 23 there, okay, and we have an assignment operator that's equal to sign you're seeing there, and the x is a variable, okay. So what this instruction tells the computer, tells it to store 23 into a memory that has been labeled x, okay. So whenever the computer wants to get that particular value, it simply call that label x, okay. But what we are saying here now is this simple line you're seeing actually told the computer to do something, and the computer will do it, okay. So that is the difference between a statement and an expression, okay. Now let's look at expression inside statement. Like I said earlier on, that expression can be seen within statements, okay. Now the first example we're going to take is the print statement again, okay. Now you can see in this print statement we have a lot of values and operators within it, okay. That means before the computer will execute the print statement, okay, it will first of all evaluate all these values and operators within it, okay. And these are simply expressions, okay. So you can see that sometimes you see expressions within your statements, okay. Now we can take another example, like print the sum is, okay. Then you see 2 plus 5 there, okay. This is going to print the sum is plus any number that the result of the expression will give you. Definitely from what we'll see here, it's going to give us 7. That means it's going to print the sum is 7, okay. So you can see that the computer will do some certain evaluation before executing the statement, okay. So another good example is where we say for instance max size equals to get max size, okay. Now this is simply a method that is being called. Invoking the method get max size, that is calling the method get max size, is going to call a certain operation to happen, and that certain operation will definitely do something and bring value in return, okay. Now when it bring value in return, it simply assign the value that it is going to bring into the variable called max size, okay. So this is also an expression mixed with statements, okay, because the get max size, since it's a function and it will perform some evaluation and bring a result, is simply an expression, okay. And the entire line from max size equals to get max size is simply a statement, okay. Then another thing again we can see is a conditional statements, okay, like if age is greater than or equal to 18. You see the age greater than or equal to 18 is an expression, and it will be evaluated to give us a boolean result if it's true or false, okay. And the result that we give will be used for the condition there, okay. Then lastly we can also see a logical statements, okay, like for logical expressions rather, logical expression like you can see is logging, which will either be true or false, and will be evaluated. The true nature of it will be evaluated by the expression within the bracket. And you can see the expression evaluating if username is equal to John and if if the password is equal to 123. Okay, so this simply what program statements and expressions are. Okay, so to summarize the whole thing, whenever we talk about expression within your program, when you start programming, when you start writing your program source code, okay, anytime you deal with values, evaluating values to give a certain result, you can simply say those are expression. But whenever you instruct the computer, whenever you write a line of code that instruct the computer specifically to do a certain thing, you're simply talking about statements. Okay, so that is it for this video today, guys. And the next video we're going to see, we'll be talking about attribute statements. Okay, now talking about attribute statements, we'll go into programming mainly. Okay, now a quick note before I go. The quick note. Okay, the first thing first, I would like you to know that for a start, we're going to be working with QBasic, Java, and Python programming language. Okay, for a start. Okay, remember in one of the previous videos I said that the languages that we're going to be using all through this series, we're going to be working with QBasic, Java, Python, JavaScript, and C++. Okay, I also mentioned some of the reasons why we'll be using these languages, okay, in the previous video. Okay, but to quickly just run through the reasons why we'll be using the language. Okay, starting with QBasic, I said QBasic is one of the best language to learn programming because it is a language that explicitly describe most of the principles of programming. Okay, if you want to see the basic principles of programming, then for Java is very, very relevant in the market today because Java can be used to build enterprise softwares. Okay, a lot of powerful softwares, and Python is one of the most popular language, and it's also very, very simple as it is a multi-purpose programming language because it cuts across different fields. Okay, then I'll also we'll learn C++ as well. C++, we're going to be using it to see other programming paradigm. Okay, I forgot Java. The major reason for Java is not because it's enterprise programming language or a programming language for developing enterprise solutions, but the major reason for Java is a core object-oriented programming language. So when we want to explain the concept of object-oriented programming very well, we'll use Java. Okay, then C++, we're going to see C++ to explain other paradigm that are not really object-oriented programming because C++ will give you the liberty of doing object-oriented if you want to, or you can just do other programming paradigm. Then we're also going to use JavaScript because JavaScript is also one of the most popular language today, and also it cuts across different platforms. Okay, so in this language that we choose for this series, I think Python and JavaScript are the most modern languages. Okay, so we have to include them so that those people that will be taking their programming level further, programming knowledge further rather, they can have something to leverage on. Okay, so that is that. Then another thing again is like I think I mentioned it before, we are not developing a software, we're just learning programming. Okay, so we're going to stick to just the programming, not software, and that's one of the reasons why we are also using these various languages because we'll be focusing on the program logics, the syntax and structure, rather the languages. So which one is the best language, we don't want to know for now. Okay, so we'll just be focusing on the programming principles, the logic, the syntax and the structure. So thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video, and don't forget you can subscribe to our channel at Programmer City and you can also click the notification button to get notified. Like I said at the beginning of the video, that we have a SQL tutorial also coming up, and we're going to be doing it with this. So as we are doing this series, we'll be doing the SQL series, and possibly other tutorials will be coming your way very soon. Okay, thank you for watching, and God bless you.